Mexico. Oh, hold on 1 minute, please. And she's well known for her paintings, something called ofrendas, which I'm going to talk about soon, and for her papel picado, which I'm also going to define for you momentarily. And her work is inspired by her Mexican-American heritage. She is a Chicana artist, which means that she is American, but of Mexican heritage. We are going to look first at a slideshow of her work. We're going to talk about it, and then I'm going to give you folks directions for what you can create in class today. Just a brief reminder for those of you who are at home, please remember to mute yourself unless you have a comment to make about what's going on in class. If you are a new student, and I think we have one new person today, so welcome. If you are new, we welcome people of all different levels and skills. If you've done art before, great. If you've never touched pencil to paper, that's awesome too. All right, give me a moment to bring up our slideshow. Carmen Lomas Garza. Those of you who know me well know that I was an elementary art school teacher for most of my life. And this is how I discovered Carmen Lomas Garza. She produced several children's books. And I just fell in love with her artwork when I used her children's books in my classroom. But she's a well-known fine artist, as well as being an illustrator. Her work is part of the permanent collections of the Smithsonian American Art Museum, the Hirshhorn Museum and Sculpture Garden, and the National Museum of Mexican Art, the San Jose Museum of Art, the Mexican Museum, the Pennsylvania Academy of Fine Arts, and the Oakland Museum of California, among many other institutions. So here we go. Oh, it's terribly blurry. Sorry about that. This is what happens with digitized images. But you can get a sense of her work. She's most famous for these wonderfully detailed pictures of everyday family life in the United States, but everyday Mexican-American family life. She was born in Kingsville, Texas. She's the second of 5 children. And again, this is a small community near the Mexico-United States border. And even as a very, very, very young child, she loved to watch her mother paint. And she felt like what her mother did was magic. So at a very young age, she knew immediately that she wanted to become an artist. She watched her mother painting picture cards for a game, Mexican game that's very similar to bingo. She started becoming aware of that when she was around 8. Laura, if you, sorry, wouldn't mind letting Lauren in. And she would watch her grandmother create embroidery patterns, and she would help her grandmother make the paper cutouts for the embroidery patterns. So the influence of her mother and grandmother's art making was very strong for her, very influential. And by the age of 13, she decided she would be an artist. And lucky for her, her parents encouraged her to pursue her interests all the way through elementary, high school, and college. Her work is sometimes considered to be folk art, which I hesitate to use that term for her or put her in that category, because often that's looked on as a pejorative or a negative terminology. But I don't know. For me, folk art is an honor to be classified as a folk art person. It means that you look to the traditions of your background, your ancestry, and you use them in your work. So she is obsessed with doing these tiny figures, which is a big thing in Mexico. They are used frequently in Mexican art and art forms, and in particular in this art form called ofrendas. Ofrendas are little sculptures that are created for a holiday called Day of the Dead. They're little altars with tiny people and tiny skeletons in them. And she copies them and puts them into her paintings often. Ofrenda, Ofrendas. Ofrendas. I'll put it in the chat box later because I can't use my mouse when I'm doing the slideshow, unfortunately. So again, very detailed work, very colorful, illustrative work, but just such a wonderful chronicle of what everyday Mexican American life is all about. So we are indebted to Ms. Lomas Garza for helping us know what her cultural traditions are all about. When Garza and her brother started to attend school, speaking Spanish was forbidden. It was not tolerated. And even in high school, she was paddled if she dared to speak Spanish in school. She was teased by other children. And then from there, she went on to Texas Arts and Industry University, where her parents had been involved in political organizing through the American GI Forum. And Garza did follow in her footsteps and organized a bookstore for Chicanos on her college campus. In 1972, she received a Bachelor of Science in Art Education and a Texas teaching certificate at Texas Arts and Industry. I love this one. Women are often a focus in her work. Her work is very female-centric. She does not call herself a feminist, or I have not found that term used in writings about her. And it was while she was doing her undergraduate work that she decided that it was important for her to create art that would be understood by people of all ages. She learned to be proud of her culture and wanted to educate others through her art. And by using her art became a platform for her to teach others about her culture. I like this piece a lot. I love that you can see the garden through the windows. Good morning, folks. Those kinds of very specific local details come up so often in her work. The women using plants to do what they're doing. I don't know if they're creating something as a healing potion or if they're cooking something. It's not clear in this picture. It could be.
It's a ritual.
I'm sorry, Daniel.
It's kind of ritual. I saw those things in the car. Usually, like you see, there's an incense and she's spreading it to her.
So it's like a medical thing, right? It's like a tea.
Something like that. It's almost like shamanism.
Or like chamomile or.
Shaman.
Oh, it's for shamanism. Maybe. Okay. So she's like a curandera.
Yeah, something like that. I see.
Okay. So Daniel is guessing that the woman in this picture, the one with the plants in her hand, the older woman.
I mean, you can see it. There's the bucket in there, and you can see some fragments that coming out.
Yes. He's guessing that possibly the older woman on the left in the blue dress in this picture is possibly a curandera, which means she's a healer, and that the people visiting her in this picture are coming to be healed of some illness that they're suffering from. It does kind of look like they're waiting, right, to be treated. And the child is sitting on the bed as if he might be ill. Interesting. Here's a personal note. When I was in Peru, I became very sick with something. I don't know if I'd eaten something or I caught a bug, but I was cured by a curandero. And boy, it was like, talk about magic. It was like almost instantaneous. An hour after the curandero did what he did, I felt 100% better. So whatever she's doing, I hope it helped that little boy. All right. She later received a Master of Education in 1973 at Juarez Lincoln Antioch Graduate School and a Master of Art in 1981 from San Francisco State University. She now lives in San Francisco. She says that her artistic creations helped her heal the wounds inflicted by discrimination and racism, and that's a direct quote. She also feels that by creating positive images of Mexican American families, her work can help combat racism. Just wonderful detail again. The interaction between people in the picture, to me, is very warm and loving and heartfelt. I don't know if you can see in this horribly blurry picture, but there's a person up in the tree getting fruit. And a lot of cats, and there may be a couple of dogs too. Yeah. Yeah. So her choice to use personal and family images to combat racism is a departure from more political work that other Chicano artists have used. And this creation of her narrative, rather than one that is forced on her, speaks against racism on its own. Great use of perspective in this image. The clouds look like tall ships, don't they? They're really interesting shapes in the clouds. They look like tall ships. I love that. So she incorporates these little figures or monitos in her artwork. The figures and their interactions with the spaces they inhabit show how Chicana or Chicana identities are connected to the places she paints. They're idealized and the figures become archetypes. She flattens the figures and sense of space, and this is a quote, to create a sense of immediacy, letting the viewer interact directly with the subject matter. This is part of the folk tradition of Mexico.
Where are you reading?
This is an article that I found on Wikipedia. You're welcome. Again, the tiny monitos. all of the details. And you can see, if you look in the top of this image, you can see the papel, the cut paper, things that are ubiquitous. If you're ever lucky enough to go to Mexico, the cut paper artwork is very popular in Mexico. It's used for decorations on holidays, also in marketplaces, and they're quite wonderful. They're very intricate cut paper decorations. They're called papel picado. I'll put it in the chat box, and I will spell it at that point for you, Eileen. Yes, you can. They're usually made of very thin tissue paper, very, very intricate. You have to be very skilled.
That's what literally means. Papel picado means shredded paper.
Yes, thank you. Daniel said, translated, it means very thin paper.
No, shredded paper.
Shredded paper means very shredded paper or cut paper. Again, people interacting in everyday activities. She really wants us to understand what life is like for Mexican Americans, daily, everyday activities. Paper picador is the English translation, or cut paper. She also has done these as sculpture, large steel cutouts. I don't think I have any pictures of those. I can't remember now. Maybe later in the slideshow. We'll see. I love this picture. This young man has an earache, and she's curing his earache by pouring some hot garlic and oil in his ear, which is also, we don't have our Indian ladies here today, but it's what is done in India also to cure earache. And according to, I have an Indian neighbor and she swears by it. She tried to do that for me one day, but I chickened out. But it's this kind of image that I think is so wonderful in her work. Her willingness to share what is so definitely part of her own personal culture, her ability to come to terms with her personal pride and then make it into art to teach others, I think puts her apart and makes her special and wonderful as an artist, and one that we should celebrate. And it's the reason she is in so many famous museums throughout the United States and throughout the world. He doesn't look worried. I believe it's pretty hot oil. I don't know if that's fire. I can't really tell. I had the same question. Just the details are, I don't know. I can't stop talking about how wonderful the details are. So again, she's authored several bilingual textbooks. I've actually used them in my classrooms with young children, and they love them. We saw this image already. Put it in twice. Good morning. All right. Here's the family trying to help an ill woman, probably this child's mother, I'm guessing. I find this a very poignant, emotional image. Or the sister, it might be the sister of this boy. Tell me to change the slide because I can't stop looking at this. Everybody seems to be mesmerized by this piece. All right, we're going to move on. This one really reminds me of another Mexican artist. Can you guess who I'm thinking of? Frida Kahlo. Yep. Another artist who was in love with the traditions of her culture, Frida Kahlo.
Yeah, but that doesn't look weird. Their art was more eccentric.
More eccentric?
Yeah.
Certainly was more self-centered, more about herself.
And about the perspective already reminds me about her.
Yes. Yep, the perspective is, yep. I think it's just because it's a female person flat on her back in a bed. That's what's reminding me of Frida. And then the Catholic imagery, there's a lot in this that's a lot like Frida. So this is a papel picado. This is done with either a knife or scissors. This is not ink on paper. This is a cutout. So the artists who do this kind of work are incredibly skilled at cutting paper. Talk about detail. Years and years of practice. I was fortunate many years ago to see at the Museum of Art and Design a show. It was multiple floors of cutout paper art from all over the world. Just some of the most amazing art I've ever seen. It's an extraordinary skill. I don't think I would have the patience to do this kind of art. More papel picado. These are by Ms. Garza herself. So not only does she paint and sculpt, but she does these kinds of cutouts. All right, and that is the end of our slideshow. Any last minute thoughts or comments? So just a last minute thought from me. Many people might not consider her to be a fine artist. I do. And I would argue that to the match with anyone. I think she's incredibly skilled, wonderful, fine artist, as well as an illustrator and a traditional folk artist. Today, because I'm not seeing anybody's hands up, is there anyone at home who wants to make a comment?
I can see how her work lends itself to be.
Yes,
Looks great.
yes,
It's got a very narrow field.
yes, yes. And that's,
Can you repeat that?
yes, I will. So that was Heather. And she said she could see how Ms. Garza's work would lend itself to being an illustration in a children's book because it has a wonderful narrative storytelling quality to it. And I agreed with her. Any other comments? And first, I realized I have to put in the chat, ofrenda. Now, where are my mouse? Here we go. Ofrenda and ofrenda and papel picado.
You want to repeat?
I'm spelling it for folks who want to know how it's spelled so they can look it up, Dan.
find them and post one at the same time, they're both items withdraw.
I blew it.
Okay, please remember to mute yourselves, folks at home. You don't want us to hear your private conversations. Okay, so today, our assignment. I'm going to put up a picture of Ms. Gazos. I'm going to try and find one that isn't incredibly blurry. So one of your choices is to copy her work, which I think is a wonderful way to hone and perfect your own skills. Or if you are lucky enough to have a smartphone and you have a family picture, you may create an image of your own family. Maybe you have a family picture at a birthday celebration or a holiday celebration, a family picture that you might feel very proud of. Think about including things in the picture that represent your family traditions that you would like to teach or share. Or I have brought in lots of colored paper. You could attempt to create your own papel picado. You can fold and cut your own creations. I also brought in glue sticks. You could do a mixed media piece where you collage as well as create a picture, a family portrait. Any questions about what we're creating today? You might want to think about females in your life. A lot of Ms. Gaza's images are about women and activities of women. So you might want to think back to your mothers, grandmothers, aunts, and include them in your work today, since it is Women's History Month.
We already did a few of them still.
Yes, that was a singular portrait, though. Now I'm thinking of an entire family portrait on which you could put many female family members. Good point from Daniel. Thank you, Dan. All right, any further questions or comments? I am going to put a picture up on the screen. And let's begin work. Folks who are here, there's all kinds of colored paper. There's white background paper, scissors, glue sticks, all kinds of drawing equipment. And you can get started gathering up your material. Anybody need me to repeat the directions? No? Okay, let's get cracking.
Sorry about that.
Not a problem. We have a lot of traffic today. It's kind of exciting. Let's see if this picture is less blurry. Oh, we looked at this picture already. Let's see if I can find a picture we have not looked at. Yeah, I love this one. Anybody have anything from last week you want me to look at for advice before I share the screen with the new image? No? Okay. Okay, it's still a little blurry, but the people are large enough that I think you can see them. Ironically, this looks like a father and a little girl. Huh. So I didn't follow my own directions. Forgive me. Anybody prefer having a mother and child picture? Okay. So we have over an hour today to work. Have fun, everybody. Welcome back. Yes, Daniel is sitting on the end.
This takes it outside too. Right?
Yeah.
Under the bed.
Yeah. Behind our backs. Oh, it's a moment. Oh, yeah.
Keep working. Okay. What's up? You're right. And he was asking if it was five. It's five.
Oh.
Oh, it is far? Yeah, I can still look like it from here.
My mother used to be.
Your mother used to.
Not boring, like the whole gown.
Well, I don't know if it's a whole gown.
Yeah. It looks like more mainly, right? The small piece, right? But not high. Not high,
You heat it first.
yeah. Well, and we can report, and then it gets to that. The medium, this is very hard to make.
Burn here, right?
Original thing.
But this is the room. This is the same way. Maybe she blows it out. Maybe she. Sit on the
That's how they're going.
Maybe it's just for the paint. Love it. He's got a big smile on his face. I smile.
Not smiling no more.
Lots to come up. Very unique. If you Google her name, you'll find many, many, many paintings of hers. So if you don't have any ideas and you want to copy her work, there's so many paintings. Always copy. They all have lots of people. So you're off an hour.
Oh, yeah. But, the lifestyle, right? You know, I don't have the phone. It takes me much to get a good visual,
Okay.
so.
Awesome. I will dig into it. It's a nice picture.
The lifestyle.
Yeah.
Water. Construction. Water, happy home.
I like the concept.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
It is thicker than I thought.
Seems to be getting more blurrier the longer I keep it up. Is it just me? It's warming up. How are we doing at home? Are we good? Everybody have ideas? Oh, you're welcome, Ellen. Like it, Jim. Sorry, some of the pieces of paper are raggedy. When it's damp. Nice trim. And which one? Just because of your. Have you all stayed the same height? Oh, no, some of you should. But that's genetics for us. And I'm younger than my sister, but I was always taller until now. I'm short. He's like. I was taller than. And now I'm short. I shrunk more, yeah. So, but I'm saying age has nothing to do with height. She did not shrink, but I did all. So, look at as far as this work. There's a certain amount of accuracy, but it's not perfect. They're very flat, they're not realistic. So don't beat yourself on this project. You don't have to beat yourself up about realism. Okay? You did choose to do a lot of people. So does she. She has a lot of people. She has a lot of people. You can't see all of the figures, so that's a blessing you've given yourself. The person in front of the person behind is blocking half of the person's body. How is that possible? Just open up my eyeglass white and it's dry as a bone. No one else ever saw that show at the Museum of Art and Design, that paper show? Oh, it's incredible. Hello. I know this.
But there must have been a lot of people there. There
Seen
were,
the
they
pictures.
held it back.
Yeah, but.
6 people, but 8 on this. Yeah, but they were workers. That's drivers.
No,
I can't say that a lot of people wanted to drive.
No, they saved, but.
Said when it comes to Robert, rather fashion. Fashion. Or stencil. Cutting in shapes and then coloring on the inside in the negative space. It's not a direction I thought we'd go. Yeah, I know. It's very nice though. There you go. She's Bulgarian. Yes, she's Bulgarian. Bulgarians. And Armenian. Yeah. There are 2 of them here. One is very long. Bulgarian is not country at all. Nothing at all. I mean, I've bought a lot of countries. And so she started out with that. Because so there's a lot of Slovenian. The lady in the middle. Yeah. Lady on the other end. Let's see. Here. And then there was another one in the beginning. Another one. Spreadsheet and then she was wearing a wig. Two of them I think were the same. But I'm grateful to that one in the streets. And loves it. Did you like that? That class, that's a good term. Especially lately, now that the weather. When the big old ladies.
Which one, the bingo class?
Did the big old ladies rock too?
No, we just make a lot of noise.
Yeah, no, they used to do yoga in that room. They were mad. They were not happy, yes.
They were there when we came.
They just kind of got it all.
They were acting a little bit.
So, and then.
They were,
You know, the
we were
library,
nice
so I
and
said, okay, I
quiet.
can't get there. So I started just doing these things.
Not happy.
You can see.
I know, I've seen them.
Three.
They were, they do yoga, no? No, we did not. Oh, they did like it.
That would be very.
As I said, all conforming structure, no raising the stairs. So
Yeah, I know, all about,
the beginning of this thing. Let me go to-
I know somewhere. Maybe just like. You know, like. No. What you were looking at? Oh, no. Everyone. A little bit like New Zealand has all the climates in one country. Only one suggestion.
No, not that I don't want to. She can't have, she's a cancer treated person, and you know, yeah, she doesn't, these people usually don't have.
Absolutely beautiful. Well,
Like I said, usually the terminal cancer treatment, they have a lot of, so they don't have to.
Doing on that background. That was pure genius thing. Well done. How are my artists at home? Are we good?
Good.
Yay.
Okay.
Yay, yay, yay. I have a full Hardy contingent today. That always makes me happy. The Hardies. You're probably sick of hearing that.
Nope.
Okay, good. Courtney, welcome. Alice is here. Alice, for some reason, you're floating around on my screen. That was adorable. All right, I will leave you in peace. Robin's here.
I have a question.
Absolutely.
I can't tell what's sitting on the table. Is that a bowl of carrots or can
Yeah,
you tell?
it's very blurry. Let me see if I can find it on my phone.
You know what? It doesn't really matter. I'm going to make it carrots.
That works for me. It's
I
so
think it's cactus. It's cacti or like a prickly fruit.
Oh,
okay. I can't draw those. I don't know what they look like.
Aliens.
like aliens. Thank
No,
you. That was Courtney, right?
It's Lauren.
Oh, Lauren. Okay. Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning. Lauren, side note, you keep coming up wanting to be my friend on Facebook. I keep approving of you, but for some reason you keep coming up.
Really?
Yeah.
I'll take a look. I'm like never on there, so it probably
Oh, okay.
alerts when I pop in there. But thank you. I'll check that out. I'll get back to you on that.
If you want, if you're never on Facebook, don't worry about it.
I'm rarely on Facebook. I'm trying to be on a little bit more frequently.
Why? Don't worry about it. No pressure.
You know what? I'm just imperfect. It works.
And it's a happy place to be.
All the different shapes of pumpkins, I know. Look how big his face is together. I just see him. I know. And I'd say that coffee, then so much left. That's so much energy. So fast.
I'm very intelligent. They will be a little bit too.
Want me to hold it up so you can see it from distance?
That is good. But even the idea that now, like this, to see the purple kind of like,
Fortunately, especially now.
Oh, yeah. Seven.
Yeah.
It's a pretty
In the
bad
case of many places.
Well, the white is.
Fine. Yeah,
In a way, like people was like.
I just learned about the Scottish man, James Marsden, special about him on the channel that you want to see somebody laugh. James Mars. Oh, blind or something after a while?
No.
You become blind? Yes. And the more blind he became, the more beautiful his face.
Like, Martin,
Morrison, Morrison.
the actor,
No, he's just an artist. Painter,
a different actor at all.
not the actor.
I don't think you know the actor. I know him mostly because he's the actor from Sonic.
He did watercolor and oil. But his oils, he would soak the canvas in turpentine. And so they look like that. So most of his life he painted outdoors, you know, directly what he saw as the age and time. What he would do is copy old paintings. And then he stopped using brushes, he started painting with paper towels and rags.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty much.
Which is a lot of things, right? There it's, yeah.
Pretty much.
Oops, Courtney needs to get back in. Back in, Courtney? Sorry about that. Were you waiting long?
Uh, no, I didn't realize I'd been kicked out until my computer shut down.
Okay. Well, welcome back.
Well, because I think that was this.
You're doing well, folks at home. I'm assuming.
So far.
So far, so good. Those of you who have children and grandchildren, I really recommend Carmen's children's books. Just if you Google Carmen Lomas Garcia children's books, you will find them, and they're bilingual. Mexican life, Mexican American life, family life. Actually learned of her and her art in a diversity training program that I went through. I loved it. I went through a program that taught me to become a leader in my school. Got to study with the great Peggy McIntosh, who's an educator at Wellesley College for Women.
Okay.
SEED, which is an acronym that stands for Seeking Educational Equity.
Oh. We, don't go to those places.
I'm sorry, Dan.
Be careful with those.
You don't like those words?
They are pushing it so much that it is ruining everything, even art.
I think some people do misuse those terms. I'm in agreement with you on that. I believe it should be taught more.
And nowadays, let's. If you want to do it, make it subtle, but don't time it into your head. It's getting annoying.
You and I agree to disagree.
You should see, you haven't seen enough about what these people can do. These actually are the most hypocritical people you could see.
We can talk about it after class.
Yep. Fishy.
Everyone okay at home?
Doing good.
Yay.
Watching it evolve. Yeah. Relative to you?
She's my neighbor. Well, one neighbor from many years ago. Really, she's, I think probably she's on this her last year. Oh, it's great. She's very nice, really nice lady. I even made an art of her and her husband years ago. Taken to her. Her husband passed away a few years ago. I did visit her last year.
You did get to see her, that's.
Yeah, she's always reminding her. I mean, she may have, bad cancer and all that stuff, but she's very strong, let me tell you, she's been battling now for years. Sometimes she kind of goes on, her ups and downs. And trust me, even with that condition, last year she was able to go to New Zealand and Egypt. For a family vacation for children. So there's a lot of qualities to it. So Disney.
Sounds incredibly strong.
Yes.
Glad you got to know. Thank you for coming. Monster. I don't think so.
See you. A biento. All right. Folks at home, we have 10 minutes till sharing. And folks at home, you get to share first today. Sharing is optional, not obligatory, but folks at home, you get to go first.
So I suggest, say that. This photo is really Helsinki. Cheers. Some places in this picture, this is about and yeah. That's where the choose. About it. She's still looking at every month. So that way. So. Stop if you want to be. Stop it. The line of holding. Or if you don't want to use color, you could do it with pencil. Start shading. Yeah, long, so I, strategy thing. I was solid bread. I mean, so it's stretching my thing. They're all different. I realize that while there are a lot of them looking for, you or the person next to you is doing something funny. That's right. Yeah. Yeah. In a picture. Yeah. Somebody said something you made a funny noise. That's something. Yeah. It doesn't. Yeah, everybody turns to left. Yeah, everybody. True. There's a whole story there. That would be my guess. I don't know. It wasn't there. But. Oh, I can, because. Oh, yeah, the really. I just wanted to say how much I love. Yeah, that would be nice. Yeah, that's good. See, finish. A lot of symbols in my own lives. I relate to. In your own business. In Mexico, yes. Yes, I felt behind. That's what I was talking about. Yeah. Yeah, that's what she does, yeah. So you've been to Mexico, you know. Yes. For the sun, yes. Yeah, so you know, that's great. Um, 4 more minutes, everyone, till we can share if you wish.
Bye, Judy. Have a wonderful day and weekend, and see you soon. Walk around. It's not. No, I know. But they don't. One more thing. This is wrong. Yeah. There's always somebody with more. So that
You know, exactly, make sure that there's a guy right there, looks over everyone, even those that feel that they were here, if not, the change will never continue,
That's true.
so it has to.
You gotta have bad in order to initiate good, I guess. You can't have one without the other.
You know, in the society, if you notice, you have to have a bunch of things that are at home. In which case, it's bad, right? You don't have a bunch of things that are at home, but it's just a drive, you think that you have to go. Then years later, they're investing this money to buy things that don't even matter.
And it goes on and on.
And it goes on.
I love what you did with the scratching.
Yeah, or like scratch all day long.
Yeah, maybe more.
And of course,
Yes. Who controls the parking, controls the. Are we sharing? Are we sharing? Yep, we're gonna start sharing right now. So we're gonna start sharing right now. Daniel is my last. All right, people at home, sharing with you first. Let me stop the share with this picture. And see, Dina, you have your hand up.
Nope, that was from before.
Oh,
Oh,
well.
I
Okay,
have some.
go ahead.
I have something not brilliant. I'm not really finished, but I'm happy to show it.
If you wouldn't mind, Robin is first in my queue, and if your hand is not up, we'll get to you soon. Does that work?
I should be, can you hear me? It's Robin.
Yes.
Okay,
Robin, do you want to share?
sure.
Okay, so you are my,
I wanted to copy the painting because it's the hardest thing to do. So this is, I just drew it.
I love it.
I was so interested in how she does people because there isn't that much detail like in the arms and the legs, but you still
She
get,
flattens them.
yeah.
It
And
is so wonderful, the
so
flattened image of the people. Yep.
it was just fun to try to get the proportions right and a good exercise. I enjoyed
I'm
it.
glad you think so. And that your drawing is terrific. Do you
Oh.
think you might add color or you're going to leave it black and white?
I probably will just leave it the way it is. I felt like it was more an exercise than anything, to finish for today, but it was good. It's helpful. Thank you.
You're
Okay,
welcome. You're welcome. Thank you for sharing.
thanks, Liz.
All right, Susan's up next. Aha. Susan. Susan definitely has a great love for anything Mexican. Look, so you did a papel picado?
Yeah, I have some cutouts in my room from Halloween, so I decided to do something like that. But it's hard, really hard. I'm not very good at cutting stuff.
Well, I love them. So they're skulls, which is very appropriate for papel picado.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
On Day of the Dead in Mexico, they are everywhere.
My whole house is filled with. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Great
This
colors, great shapes.
I'm gonna bling it up a little bit.
It's joyful, just
Yeah.
the way Day of the Dead. And if you ever are lucky enough to be in Mexico on Day of the Dead, it's an incredibly joyful celebration.
Yes.
So
Mm-hmm.
it's not really about death, it's about celebrating the lives of people who have passed on.
Yeah. Well, they make the sugar skulls candy, and you can eat. They leave them there for the dead. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah, It's all about the celebration. All right, thank you, Susan.
You're
Well
welcome.
done. Cutting is, it's a skill. It's a learned practice. Okay, Dina, sorry, I forgot to give you a warning. You're up next.
Okay, well, it's just a rough draft, okay? But I did add
Oh,
some
how
color.
great. Yeah.
Fabulous.
Okay, the head, I'm not happy with the heads, but I'm gonna get back in. But like I said, this is my rough draft. I like color. She reminds me a little.
Great
Uh,
color. That's my first comment was going to be great, great color. It's
Yes,
wonderful.
beautiful.
That's the first thing I noticed when I looked at her art, and then everything else.
Yes.
Mhm. Yes.
And you
Beautiful.
captured that flat, immediate quality of
Yes.
the figures. Well done.
Thank you.
Bravo.
Thank you so much for sharing.
You're welcome.
And okay, Courtney.
I can't see
You're
it.
on.
I don't know if it's going to be visible.
Yes.
Ooh,
This
Really
is
nice.
uh,
beautiful.
from a picture from college. My friend's little jug band.
Oh, nice.
I love it.
Oh, yeah, I see the banjo now. Yep. I was wondering what she was holding. Now I see.
A banjo and a jug. Yep.
Awesome. Oh, please send it to me when it's done. Great figures.
Thanks.
Thanks for sharing, Courtney. And have I missed? Where's Lauren? Is she still with us? Oh, Alice is next.
Uh, it's
Oh, it's
it's an
lovely.
after skiing selfie.
Oh, that's beautiful.
These are your children?
Yeah, my daughter and her husband.
Love it. And when they were young, or
Actually, it was just last week there at Breckenridge.
oh, okay.
I have to age them.
They're adorable. It's a beautiful drawing. Beautiful. Thank you, Alice. I loved it.
Thanks.
All right. Have I missed someone at home? No. Well, thank you, those of you at home who are sharing. Anyone here, come on up. Let's replace the spotlight. Daniel, do you want to go first? I'm going to start on your side first today. Get out of the way. Daniel to the mixed media. Oh, look at that. This is your neighbor, you said, at one point.
Yep.
You want to tell us a little bit about her? What a beautiful face, right?
Well, she did. She and her family, we grew up together for the grand majority of my life, and even when we moved away from the house, yeah, we always kept in contact and all that stuff. And then, well, unfortunately, she and her husband, they got their terminal cancer, but they've been battling each time. We lost her husband 2 years ago, and she's still fighting. She lost a lot of weight and a lot of hair, of course. I saw her last year, and she's a very strong woman that even thought because of her terminal illness, she keeps fighting to the point that she even went to New Zealand and Mexico despite her fragility. And well, I decided to do that. And I just thought about it.
She's very beautiful.
Beautiful. Just beautiful.
Well, she was fatter than in her later years. She lost a lot of weight. No offense. Okay.
It happens.
Beautiful.
Beautiful drawing. Beautiful, beautiful woman. Thank you.
Beautiful
Dave.
sentiment.
Yes. Eileen, I'm going to switch back and forth today. Okay. Oh, bye.
my mom sent me how she's looking right now. She have her swollen hand, arm, and all that stuff. Don't
Your
worry.
friend is listening right now?
No, sorry, it's my mother. It's
his
an
mother.
representative of my mother.
His
and
mother
She sent me the last.
Sending the picture.
Oh, that's wonderful. Eileen,
All right, I just want to explain. I come from a very large family. And whenever we get together, we take pictures, and we take pictures like a train, we call it the choo-choo train. So this is a drawing of a picture in which I am about 8 years old. I don't know. These are my cousins and my sisters.
isn't this great?
I can't.
Might have to back up just
Yeah.
a little and back it up.
Oh,
Yeah.
right there.
Isn't this cool?
I mean, like, can you guess which one is me? You can't, because nobody looks like the way they really look. But
So wonderful.
there's 7 of us, like, and one died, and 2 have.
If I can
we-
take a guess, maybe it's the one with the smug smile.
Which one? The first, second, third?
The third one on the left.
Really close.
Yeah, that's me. Starting on the right-hand side, you mean?
This one?
No, I thought the other.
On this way?
Yeah.
No, I'm over there. I can't even see where I'm looking at. What do you?
Yeah.
Are you this one?
This
or
is,
this one? The second or third on the right?
see where this is,
I'm gonna point. Are you,
well, I have to see, I mean, I don't know how, I can't see from here. Who's the tallest one?
the first one?
Where,
the
right, okay, that's my older sister. Then that's my cousin, then that's me, the next one, but it doesn't
This
look
is
like
you,
me.
the
Doesn't
third
look
from
like
the
me
right.
at all.
Oh, hey, you go.
But there's 7 of us, 2 have dementia and 1 died, so.
Look at all the eyes going up the
Yeah.
places.
Well, they're all looking, I caught that. They're looking sideways, I guess that the person's taking the picture. I don't know.
It's just a great drawing, Eileen.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing.
We have thousands of these up to today.
And Eileen has made so much progress in the last year. Bravo. Well done, Nicola. Really thrilled with your work, Eileen. Go ahead,
Yeah, so
Nicola.
this is my expressionism letting out. Started with the clouds and the mountains, and then it turned into this. I like the scratchy thingy.
That church?
It is some kind of building like that, some kind of tower. And it's a place in the Alps where palm trees grow. So maybe I'm asking
And how
too
does
much.
it
for
relate to you?
Part of my family is there. So you see here, on this side, some houses on the hills, and then some nice colors in here, but yeah, it's a little fuzzy, everything. So maybe scratching out some elements would help, maybe.
Yeah, I would get a little bit darker behind the church to define it a little bit more, but
Yeah.
it's just beautiful color. Really beautiful.
Yeah, I just love colors.
Switzerland.
It's actually the north of Italy, the Dolomites.
It's Italian.
Yeah, Dolomites.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Thank you.
And I forgot you.
Oh.
Yeah. Come on.
Thank you, guys. I don't have a lot, so I'll kind of make it fast. Maybe start with the name. Hoboken. Oh, then and now. Where are we? All right, we'll just go this way. Or this way. Sheesh.
That's good.
Oh, wow.
Stars and stripes to the matrix. Now, over here, you see stars, you see stripes.
Hmm.
This shows the nature of our homes changing. You then get a little extra around the door and a big window, and all of a sudden, you see this big home, and it's entirely 3 lots, 10-foot windows like the garbage can building in New York. You have balconies in the front. You have shallow, deep end, hot tub, pergolas. You have outside mattresses and chairs, you understand. And of course, you have the penthouse, so the one guy can always look upon all the rest. So the other sad part about the Natrix is that though you have a pool and parking, it's only for rent. So everything that you find in the Natrix is not ever will you ever have equity. That's why you see the serpent heads here. You have
Mm.
Nike, you have Apple, you have Gucci.
Hmm.
Oh yeah, and it's coming. This is actually the side of my place right now where they're digging.
Mm. Wow.
Exactly. So it was fresh in my mind because I have some digging in mind. Thank you guys.
Bye.
Thank you.
Great, great.
No, I just trying to get the ideas out of my head. And then I started with straight lines, and then I also knew that I didn't have time to try to get perfect. Like I started.
So art can have a message,
Yeah.
and that's okay. Tamara, do you want to share? Yay, come on up.
Just that, it's just for that, you know, those art, kind of like a.
Definitely starting this because there's the sidewalk, there's the street.
Well, more of that, I don't have.
Okay.
Oh,
I'm looking at Tamara's now.
oh, that's gorgeous. Gorgeous.
Tamara went in the cut paper direction.
Wow.
Ideas, just cut.
No, it's wonderful.
Is that cut
You
out?
did.
It's-
This is all cut out.
It's terrific.
Very nice. Did you
Love
want
it.
to talk more about it? Rarity. Come on up. So also Papel Picado,
Mm.
and yours is growing. This is not finished.
Oh,
Bravo.
beautiful. Just beautiful.
Bravo.
Gorgeous.
Thank you everyone for sharing. Wow. Sharing is not always easy, so I'm impressed, guys. All right, next week we will be starting a whole new series of artists. We will be looking at artists as part of National Poetry Month. I wish you all a wonderful weekend. Hopefully the weather will start warming up for spring, and I will see you soon. Art on, everyone. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.